Very good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Wednesday, May 20th, 2026, and we will take your calls, 888-658-0234. Actually, I should say, Pam, we need to reset. The phone thingy isn't working. Sorry, we're doing a little on-air thing. To kick things off, meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you. You see, this is the thing, Mike. There are 2,426 working parts, and sometimes one of them says, I'm not going to do it.
hmm This is true on a Wednesday too, of all days. Just when you think you get the ball rolling, you're going through, see Friday at the end of the tunnel, and here we go. Start off, but we could put up with a bump in the road, right, Ken? It's okay.
Absolutely. We like our
We can
bumps.
get there. We like our bumps. We get a little bump in the weather today regarding some storms because this afternoon we have some pretty nasty storms headed our way to New Jersey after another warm start to the day. Clear sky to start the morning, not a cloud across the state early this morning, but there is another round of heat headed our way that lasts through this evening, top to bottom, with the exception of Sussex County and even some of the beach locations. Heat advisory in place for temperatures that will feel like 95 to 100 degrees. The future cast at 3 o'clock today will actually cool off by this time because I think some of the storms arrive by 1 or 2 p.m. That will allow for a big cooling effect through the overnight into tomorrow. We'll be in the 40s and 50s by tomorrow morning and repeating that again for Friday. So say goodbye to those 80s and 90s because we're not going to see them for at least another week, especially with the rain that comes in as soon as this afternoon. And we get several rounds of rain over the next several days. So here's the cold front coming in early this afternoon. You see the storms lined up from north to south all across New Jersey. We get a break tonight, but more rain comes in tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon, and then another break for tomorrow night into the early morning on Friday with yet again more showers for Friday evening. And this rain for Friday night sticks around for most of the weekend, at least the first half of the weekend, with you see these lines of storms lined up. So here's one across western Pennsylvania, another one in the Midwest, another one in the South, and all of this rain heads toward us over the next several days. Do we clear out at least for some point this weekend? I think there's a chance even by Sunday. You see the long range futurecast shows that by Saturday night we get a big round of rain that comes through, and then Sunday, little bit of clearing, maybe just cloudy, cool weather, followed by another round of clouds for Monday. But in terms of like sunny, warm, the weather we've enjoyed, beach weather that you'd want for Memorial Day weekends, not looking good, at least for the Northeast. We'll tell you where in the country, though, it gets a little warmer, Ken. That's coming up in a few minutes.
All right, sir. Appreciate it. It is 3 minutes past the hour, 72 degrees right now in northern New Jersey. It is 72 in Trenton. We go to the West Coast, Los Angeles. We have 73 degrees, pardon me, and 73 degrees also right now in San Diego. So it's pretty much the same temp all over the country. I love how that happens. For those of you interested in traffic, we have some fire department activity right now, Route 18, and this is southbound by Old Bridge Turnpike, Edgeboro Road in East Brunswick. You could see all lanes are closed, and that's due to the fire department activity. And you can see the truck over there. That just happened in the last 15 minutes or so. So they had to shut down that roadway, and that's going to be an absolute mess. Again, that's Route 18 in East Brunswick. Try to avoid that at all costs because you're going to have a detour that'll take you across the other side of East Brunswick. So try to avoid it. Trust us. Also, a disabled bus now, Route 21. This is northbound, north of Route 22 in Newark. Right lane of 3 lanes currently closed, and that's causing a bit of a backup as well. Your Hudson River crossings, the Holland Tunnel approach, if you look at 139 coming from 78 right now, is going to cost you a solid 35 minutes in. And you can see through the schmutz, you can see the slow moving vehicles. The approach on the Lincoln Tunnel, much better, only about 20 minutes in. But we get to the GWB upper and lower levels. Take a look at what we have right now to deal with. That is heavy. And the reason for that is there is a crash on the GWB upper level eastbound, and the right lane is blocked. So the upper level is on the right. That's where you see most of the tractor trailers. That's going to be there for quite a while. So just expect that it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse through the course of the morning. In terms of, let me just fix something here. In terms of our traffic in LA, we do have a couple of issues to tell you about. We have a wrong way driver reported in Baldwin Park on the 10 at Indian Hill Boulevard. There's also a defective traffic signal reported in Newhall at the 126 and Walcott Way. And we have a traffic collision reported now in South LA on Corres Avenue. So just look out for that. 5 minutes past the hour. An update to a story we brought you yesterday. The fatal attack at a San Diego mosque is being investigated as a hate crime. Two teens who've been identified by a number of their classmates now as transgender and in a relationship opened fire at the mosque just past 9 local time. That happened on Monday morning. Monday was the start of one of the holiest periods of the Islamic calendar. Kane Clark and Caleb Vasquez killed a security guard and two worshipers before taking off in the car belonging to Kane Clark's mother. The two then killed themselves. Clark's mother reported her son missing and said he was suicidal right before the shooting. Amazingly, not one mainstream media news source will report that yet. Another mass shooting appears to have been done by transgender teens. Local police will not even investigate it. Why? Why is that not relevant? These are the people who are the victims on the screen right now. The men on the left and right were the worshipers. The man in the middle is the security guard. Authorities say the teens had posted a number of hateful messages online. There's video of them in their vehicle as they go to kill themselves, which is horrible. But the bottom line is mainstream media, if it doesn't fit the narrative, they don't want to report it. How is it? Why would not one, but dozens of their classmates say, yeah, everybody knew it was open. These guys were, you can even see, and these are their own pictures they posted. These guys were transgender and they were a couple, and they carried out a suicide pact apparently. But mainstream media doesn't want to touch that. That's a hypothesis. We don't even want to talk about it. Meanwhile, if it was somebody connected to Trump, you would have had that as a front and center story all day. Somebody who's a MAGA supporter, the conservative, right wing. That's all you would have heard. In fact, they tried to link these guys to the right because they said they found a gas tank, a gasoline tank, a canister in the car with Nazi paraphernalia on it. And so because of Nazi paraphernalia, they immediately say right wing. Right wing is not necessarily, Nazi is not right wing isn't Nazi. Remember, the Nazis were the German socialists. That's what they were. So the idea of linking them to the right, as many have tried to do over the decades, there's a lot to say about that. We can do a whole show on it. But the bottom line is these kids, in fact, there's some leakage right now of a manifesto that King Clark had where he said he didn't support anybody politically. He was just a radical. That's King Clark on the screen right there. There'll be more investigating. Eventually, it'll all come out. Meanwhile, Minnesota became the first state banning prediction market platforms statewide. Governor Tim Walz signed the law Monday. The ban targets platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket. The law criminalizes hosting or advertising that brand of online gambling. It also targets services helping users bypass location restrictions. Supporters argued states should regulate gambling independently. By the way, the law about bypassing location, that means if you try to use a VPN, it's illegal in Minnesota. So I want you to, that's government overreach right there. So when you say, well, yeah, why would we need to do that? It's called a VPN. Look it up. You have a VPN so that people don't hack into your phone when you're surfing on a public Wi-Fi. You now have a VPN in Minnesota. It's illegal. You could be charged. So think about that. This is government overreach. Industry leaders believe the ban would face legal challenges, and it already has. It's been challenged in court now. The law takes effect in August, or it may never take effect, actually. The Long Island Railroad strike came to an end yesterday with some service being restored just past noon and full service being restored for the afternoon rush, thank goodness. The strike shut down America's busiest commuter rail network for 3 days. 300,000 commuters had been impacted. The walkout was over wages and health care coverage, and Governor Kathy Hochul praised the agreement yesterday. The strike was the railroad's first major walkout since way back in 1994. 709 East Coast, 409 West. Italian-American community leaders in Baltimore are livid after vandals installed a toilet on the side of a Christopher Columbus statue that was hurled into the inner harbor by protesters in 2020. Officials were tipped off about the vile display last week when passers-by reported the pedestal that once held the Columbus statue was now topped by a white porcelain toilet. City workers finally removed the toilet hours after they received word it was there. The Baltimore statue was installed in 1984, but was illegally torn down by a mob of Black Lives Matter protesters in July of 2020. The statue was later fished out of the inner harbor and refurbished before it was reinstalled on the White House grounds this past March by President Trump. However, the original resting place of the statue remained empty until last week's disgusting display. To speak more about this is our good friend Andre Domino, who's the president of the Italian American One Voice Coalition. We say good morning and welcome to you, Andre.
Thanks, Ken. Again, I wish it was under better circumstances.
You and I have got to make a plan to get together under nice circumstances, a
All
good
right.
holiday. Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, it was bad enough when these mobs of protesters tore down the statue in 2020, and local officials let it happen and did nothing to find or prosecute the people who did it. But the fact that the foundation sits in the very busy Inner Harbor area, it isn't off in some remote area. Thousands of people pass it every day. You would think somebody would have seen as these people were doing this because it's patrolled by police all day and night. It makes you wonder how somebody could have gone unnoticed as they hoisted a 100-pound toilet 7 feet in the air onto the city property. That would have taken several people, 1 or 2 ladders and some ropes and other equipment, and that's not a quick job. So where were the police, and where do you think that surveillance video is?
Well, it's actually been reported that the police were told to stand down, as they probably did back in 2020, when not only they took the statue down, but they broke it up and threw it in the Inner Harbor. And that pedestal, Ken, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's really beautiful because the pedestal has depictions of Columbus's voyages around the 4 sides. So, that still is something of honor to the local Italian Americans that worked so hard to get those pieces out of the harbor and have a statue resurrected and now prominently displayed at the White House. So this is just another insult to the Italian Americans in that area and actually to all of us.
And I should mention, Andre, we just got some video from the Baltimore Sun. This was posted by the Baltimore Sun. There's a guy who says it's his toilet and that he placed it on the pedestal in protest. But this is the funny thing. He says he doesn't say anything about Christopher Columbus or that he did it to protest Italians. He's apparently trying to go after the mayor and the governor. This man is African American, the mayor's African American, the governor's African American, and he's basically saying that they are treating African Americans in the city like slaves. His name is Dwayne Shorty Davis. He posted a video in which he rambles on. So we don't know for sure that this is the case or if he just is a random guy, but this was posted by the Baltimore Sun. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
I'm in Little Italy, all right? This is where we took the Christopher Columbus statue down. Governor Westmore, this is your toilet. Dr. K, this is your toilet. This is called public accommodations, the right to access the courts. So in 2026, I want my property on Falls Road. I want the money you owe me. This toilet represents how you treat us. You treat us like we traded the penitentiary for the plantation, cotton for cocaine, and our black community is still the cash crop.
Again, there is no evidence. He could be some rando who just says this, but he happened to be there when the toilet went there. So whether he took part, whether he just supported it, whether he just kept his mouth shut, or whether it was really his toilet, we don't know. But the Baltimore Sun did post the video. We just want to make sure that that's clear. And we also want to say that the still pictures we got were from the New York Post. So we want to give credit to the individual newspapers that did publish this. But when you see this, you got to scratch your head and say, okay, no one seems to care. Baltimore city officials literally do not care if you are anything but one segment of that society.
Well, I hate to say maybe don't care, but I hope it's not complicit. Because after all, when the statue came down, there was not much activity to protect it at that time. And, here we go again, direct insult and vandalism and actually a criminal act of putting that toilet up there. And I don't see the connection with, if that video is accurate, I don't see the connection with the Columbus statue and the toilet and what he was talking about. So again, it's just another disgraceful act that should not happen.
Yeah, what he was trying to say is in other words, he didn't even care about what used to stand there 5-6 years ago. What he was just basically saying was he used that place as a place to foster a complaint, if you will, against the city and the state. But it has to be investigated. The police have to find the guy, talk to him, but they don't care, and they're not doing it. So the question is, will the Little Italy Association? I think the only thing they can do is sue, because clearly the police don't care, the prosecutors there don't care, and the mayor doesn't care. Otherwise, Italian Americans in Baltimore pack up and move out and say, you know what? Your loss. We want to thank Andre Domino. We're short on time. Others, we got to have you on again to talk more about this. Andre Domino, president of the Italian American One Voice Coalition. We always love when you come on, sir. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Great to see you again, Ken. Thank you.
Always our pleasure. Thank you. It is 13 past the hour. When we return, a New Jersey native stepping onto the world stage in a huge way. We'll speak with the young man who played Tito Jackson in the movie Michael. We'll be back in 2. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Wednesday live in New Jersey and New York. Now we welcome Los Angeles, 17 minutes past the hour. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a heat wave of a forecast. Good morning, Mike.
That's right, Ken. Third day in a row of 90-plus degree heat, and we could hit it by this morning. Don't even have to wait until the afternoon. Yeah,
I
I
love
know.
it.
So the weather is just racing towards summer. Wish we could, kind of wait and see that summer weather ahead for this weekend, but probably not going to be the case. Even as we look ahead to the cooling off period that takes over by this time tomorrow, especially with that cool front driving down some chilly weather as the weather remains across the southeast corner of the United States. Nice and warm into tomorrow because the cold front doesn't quite reach just there just yet. Look at the cooler, drier air that comes in for tomorrow afternoon. This is, of course, after a little bit of a wet overnight. Then we have dry weather for Friday, but more rain comes in into the weekend, and it kind of just sits and lingers and gives us showers with clouds throughout the upcoming weekend, whereas the rest of the country, especially out west, nice and dry and staying that way going into the holiday weekend. So up and down the East Coast today, we start off dry. The allergies have been insane. You could see you get the car washed in the morning and by the afternoon covered in pollen again. That is due to the high levels of trees and now grass pollens. You see a lot of the landscaping crews out there mowing lawns. So yes, it's going to be another one of those days where the pollen remains high. Out west, nice and clear weather and stays that way on the west coast today. But even still, I think we stay dry until about 1, 2 o'clock. And then those storms come through. At least they will lower the pollen levels as we head into this afternoon and this evening. Potential for severe weather is there. We'll give you those details coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
Oh, very good. Do you like my tie today, Mike? I'm dressed for the job interview.
It's very chic. Very chic.
Yeah, just so that you know, we're doing stuff with Stockton University later. We have the debate with Stockton. We'll talk about it in a bit. It's a congressional debate. It's going to be on New Jersey, and we'll have the full details in a moment. But because I have to do the special for it, I decided I would be an adult and dress up today and put on a tie and see if I still knew how to tie one.
Not a clip-on.
It's been a while. There you go. No, this is not a clip-on. All right, Mike, we appreciate you very much, sir. 72 degrees right now, up and down New Jersey. In California, 62 now. Los Angeles, 64 in San Diego. In terms of Hudson River crossings right now, it's going to cost you about 35 minutes in via the Holland because of look at that. You can see through the schmutz on the lens, the bottom. Those are stopped cars, and that is a live video stream. So there is a lot. You can see the cars just moving a little. That is going into the Holland Tunnel. It's going to cost you about 35 to 40 minutes now. The other Hudson River crossings right now, Lincoln Tunnel is only going to be about 25 minutes in the GWB upper and lower levels. There was a disabled bus that was across midspan. Apparently that has been moved. It is slow and heavy, but still at least it is moving. It's going to be about 35 minutes across the GWB. It is 21 minutes past the hour. A New Jersey native stepping out of the world stage in a huge way, starring as young Tito Jackson in Michael, already one of the most talked about films on the planet. Judah Edwards joins us this morning to talk about landing the role, bringing a member of the legendary Jackson family to life on screen, and how life has changed almost overnight. Good morning to you, Judah. Good to have you on.
Good morning. How you doing, Ken?
I'm great, man. I mean, first of all, let me ask you, when you landed the role, how excited were you?
Ooh, I was over the moon. I have to be honest, because there are certain projects as an actor that you book and you love the story, but Michael Jackson is just a whole nother level. Like as a fan, I was really excited to tell a story.
I mean, look, I'm 59. I'm a heck of a lot older than you. But Michael Jackson was every superstar combined. In my lifetime growing up, there was nobody who was on the same plane as Michael Jackson. Nobody, like ever,
Absolutely.
maybe in history, could have ever been on that plane of entertainment. And you get to play Tito, who was a major player in the Jackson 5 and the Jackson family.
Right.
So what kind of weight goes on your shoulders? What did you do to prepare? Did you look at old videos of Tito? What do you do in that case?
Yes. So in that situation, I think I understood that my role was within an ensemble. So for me, it was important to understand Tito, but also understand how he interacted with his brothers, how he interacted with Michael, Marlon. That was the biggest thing to me, because I suspected, and I was right when I read the script, that it would be a lot of improv and a lot of interactions between the brothers rather than Tito himself, because we're really telling Michael's story here.
Right. And just for people who say, there are a lot of people obviously upset with all the accusations against Michael, and I'm not having you on to do that. So I'm not going to go there, I promise. I just want to say that for those people who are feeling that right now, I'm going to step in and say, you can separate, you can separate the later Michael and the accusations, and the talent and the music of the entire family. So we're talking about the movie, the music of the family. The rest will be dealt with, but right now we're talking about the talent and the music and the family. So I just want to make sure, because I know I'm going to get complaints. People are going to say something about that.
Absolutely.
But the Jackson
Yeah.
family means so much to music history and pop culture, and I can only imagine the excitement must have been coupled with some butterflies in your stomach.
Absolutely, absolutely. Every day on set, I think I just felt the pressure because it was like, thank goodness we're shooting a Michael Jackson movie. Like, this is an amazing opportunity. But at the same time, like, we have to get this right because Michael has billions and billions of people that love him and that know him. So when they sit down in the theater, they know, how Michael walks, how he talks, how he dances. So Jafar and everybody else on the cast really they had to bring that energy.
So now, are you like what? How old are you? And you're from northern New Jersey, right? You don't have to say the town,
Yes.
but you're from northern New Jersey. Okay. So
Yeah,
how
yeah.
old are you?
17.
So you're 17. So
Yeah.
before the role, how much into the Jacksons were you? And now, since the role, how much into the Jacksons are you?
So I was raised on the Jacksons. My parents, they had this CD and it ran from I think I Want You Back all the way up to Billie Jean. And so growing up, I would just put that in the dang, I don't even know what it's called. It's so old, but we had like a little CD player and I would pop it in
Oh,
there.
you're
Yeah.
evil. You're evil, man.
I'm
That
sorry.
hurt me. That just hurt. That hurt.
I'm
I think
sorry.
I'm
I'm sorry.
sore. I could here. You want to really throw something at me? Say 8-track tape player. Have you ever heard of one of those things?
No idea what that is.
So
No
it was
idea.
a big box. It was a big box, and instead of having a CD, we used to have something that looked like a big pack of cigarettes, and you shoved that in the front of the box. You couldn't go fast forward or back. It just played in order
What?
whatever songs on a strip of tape. Yeah, look it up. Eight
That's
track tape.
crazy.
That's what we had in my day. But
That's crazy.
yeah, now I'm showing my age. I'm showing my age. But did you have? I mean, are you a singer as well and a dancer, or did you have to train for all that?
So I had to do two things that I had never done on this project, which was play guitar and dance. And I had to do them at the same time. That was the biggest thing for me, was learning how to do them at the same time. I don't think people really appreciate how hard it is to dance and play guitar. Your fingers doing one thing, your feet are doing another. It's like rubbing your stomach and patting your head at the same time. It was very difficult. And then the acting component, I would say that wasn't too challenging because we had a lot of improv, and then Antoine really allowed us to build that connection offset. But combining all three was really the issue for me.
Yeah, I think if you had to have the scenes choreographed, it would have looked fake. It doesn't look
Mhm.
organic if it's
Yeah,
choreographed. You have to be
yeah,
natural and move and perform
right.
like they performed. Otherwise, you could
Yeah,
tell. And this is the thing: when you have billions of people who know what they look like and what they
exactly.
sound like and how they're supposed to move, so they're going to judge every inch of your movement based on what we have in our minds. That's the amazing
Yeah,
thing. Now, with
yeah,
all of this, you're heading off to college. Where are you going to
yes.
school, first off, and how did you manage to get all prepped to get to
Yeah,
college while
yeah.
you were doing a movie?
Okay, well, that's a question that I've gotten a lot, and I will say that while you're on set, they have school teachers that basically make sure you're doing your work. So I don't want people thinking that I just left school and I was acting. No, we did school and acting at the same time. You do hours of school, and then you go do your hours on set. But where I'll be attending in the fall, I'll be attending Hampton University. I'll be majoring in marketing. Just trying to really expand my horizons in terms of what I'm interested in.
New Jersey is very, very lucky to have a talent like you. You're amazing. And
Thank
did you feel like you kind of brought it for New Jersey? That you're representing the state?
I did. I did. LA is so far away from New Jersey, so it was a culture shock. But I definitely felt like I was putting on.
I mean, that's amazing. Here, I should ask you. Every Jersey kid, of course, has their favorite local spots. Do you have any secret New Jersey favorites that you love to come back to?
Let me see. They have NYC style deli. It's a spot in South Orange, and the reason why I like them is because they stay open until like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So I can go out and get food anytime.
Listen, you are a mega talent. God bless you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on landing the role of Tito. We got to check out
Thank
Michael playing in theaters worldwide. See young Tito Jackson on screen, played by our friend here, New Jersey's own Judah Edwards, mega talent. Good luck in college. And I know we're going to see
you.
a lot more of you. Judah, thank you for coming on this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. 28 minutes past the hour. What a talent. A reminder that the debate for the 2nd District congressional primary takes place tonight, 6 p.m. at Stockton University's Campus Center. 4 candidates take the stage: Tim Alexander, Zach Mullock, Terry Reese, and Bailey Winder. Watch the debate live here on ONNJ. And when we come back, people serious about their feet or serious about what they wear on their feet. We're going to talk with the folks from Fleet Feet Running Stores, now celebrating 50 years of making sure the shoes you wear match the feet they are on. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're back in 2. Very good morning. 30 minutes past the hour, Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on the East Coast and the West. Meteorologist Mike Favetta. We bring you in because we got to talk about our wonderful station on New Jersey, garnering like 10,000 awards. We got all the, what is it, 8? What was the number? They got these
I think
awards
it was
called
8,
the
yes.
Tellies. 8, right? So, and this show got one. We won a bronze, which is great because we're only 16 months old. So look at that. Of course, I put my picture there. We should have a group. We need a group picture. We don't have one yet. That's the thing, because we're all, for those who don't realize, we're all in multiple locations. So we're rarely together as a group. But this is congratulations to all of the team here for putting it all together and making it happen in such a short amount of time. But thank you very much for the telly. Thank you to Izzy, the producer, who gathered the video together and submitted, along with Brandon and Sean, our production folks, and Pam, of course, our director, Gerald and Lisa, the owners of the channel, and the best meteorologist who's ever been on TV. And I know Bill Evans right now is going to say, "Shut up, Rosato. Shut up, Rosato," is our dear friend Mike Favetta. And I thank you so much, sir, because it's been such an honor these 16 months. I say like I'm leaving, I'm not, but it's been
Well,
such an
Ken,
honor
I
for
mean,
the
it's
last
great
16
working
months
with you
working with
every
you.
morning. It's fun to share all of our content online because so many people watch online from their phones, on streaming, on social, and that's kind of the new format, the way things are going. I thought of it the other day. Haven't turned on the TV other than watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse with my 16-month-old son. Haven't turned on the TV in about 3.5 weeks. So it just kind of goes to show. People are on different screens now.
There you go. And I love the fact, well, at least you're keeping Disney well paid if you have Disney Channel on there for my former employer. There we go. That's good. They still got great product. I never knock them because we still watch Disney product in the
Yep.
house. It doesn't matter that I'm not there anymore. But it's fantastic. And there are other shows. on the channel who won awards. So it would take too long to go through the list right now, but congratulations to all of our colleagues on all of the shows, a total of 8 awards, 8 Telly Awards. Congratulations to all the good folks here at ONNJ. It's not a huge team, but it is bigger than a lot of people think. We're like 20-something people in total that make up the channel, but good people all who work very, very
That's
hard.
right.
Anyway,
That's
thank you.
right.
As we have a heat wave and your hands full, so I'll let you go, sir.
Yes, yes. And we are going to be live this afternoon in the middle of those severe storms. If you want to stay updated with the severe weather that rolls through New Jersey, right now, the storm's well off to our west, but they're marching toward the Garden State early this morning, giving us the threat of some nasty weather, probably after 2 or 3 o'clock today. So we'll take you through hour by hour, show you the future cast, taking us through tomorrow into Friday, just rain event after rain event. And it's really going to be a wet period starting Friday evening, lasting all through Saturday. Sunday just cloudy, but it's cloudy in the 50s and 60s, so not necessarily outdoor, certainly not beach weather. And then we head into Monday and more clouds are on the way. So yeah, there have been better Memorial Day and holiday weekends with weather that have seen sunnier conditions. This weekend is not going to be one of them. It stays very cloudy and cool. There's our chance for some clear sky early Friday, right back to rain throughout most of the day on Saturday with those steady showers. Sunday morning starts wet, and then maybe we get a little bit of a break later Sunday evening, but it's pretty wet going forward after this morning. The warm weather sticks around and goes into the next few days, and then we have equal chances of dry and wet weather ahead into the end of May. We'll give you more details on that severe weather like I talked about coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. It is 34 minutes past the hour, 72 degrees in New Jersey, in northern New Jersey, we should say, 72 also in Trenton. West Coast, Los Angeles, 62 degrees. It is 64 in San Diego right now. In terms of traffic, we have a disabled vehicle reported now at 1 and 9 at the Tunnelly Avenue, rather. So that's the beginning of 1 and 9 where it kicks off. And there's a disabled there northbound by 495, Route 3, North Bergen. Know exactly where that is, just before the beginning of Route 3. Left lane is closed, and that's causing a mess into North Bergen. So just watch out for that if you're wondering why, by the gas stations there. If you're wondering why there's such traffic, that's the reason. Hudson River crossings right now, we have a restriction for trucks on the GWB lower level, so just be aware of that. Right now, though, if you look at the Holland Tunnel approach, Route 139 coming from Route 78, bumper to bumper, you could see through the schmutz there on the extreme right. See those 3 lanes on the far right? Those are the lanes going into the tube, into the tunnel. The cars that are moving a little further to the left, those are getting off on local roads, so they're not impacted. So that just means that there's a lot of traffic getting into the Holland Tunnel right now. The Lincoln Tunnel approach, much better. It's only about 25 to 30, and the GWB upper and lower levels, 80, 95. Upper level on the right of your screen, lower on the left. You can see just jamming, and that is from an earlier disabled bus that was mid-span of the GWB. It is now a solid 40 minutes into Manhattan. To the West Coast, a couple of issues that we have to tell you about right now. And again, it's very early West Coast time, but nonetheless, we do have a couple of things to tell you about. There is a report of a fire now in West Valley at the 170 and the 101 intersection. Wrong way driver now reported on the 10 at Indian Hill Boulevard off-ramp in Baldwin Park. And we have a defective traffic signal in Newhall at 126 and Walcott Way. 36 minutes past the hour, and whether you are training for a marathon, getting ready for your very first 5K, or just trying to stay active, running and walking have become about so much more than competition. Fleet Feet running stores, say that 100 times fast, are celebrating 50 years of helping people move with comfort, because you can get stuff on the Amazon, but it's never going to fit perfectly. And if you're going to be doing a lot of running and you're going to be putting a lot of weight on your feet, you don't want something off the shelf. So joining us this morning to talk more about that is Maria Cuccinello Falso, Community Outreach Director for Fleet Feet Northern New Jersey. And along with her is Ben Fleischer, the Marketing Manager. We say good morning, Maria and Ben. Good to have you both on.
Good morning, Ken. We're so happy to be here.
Good to have you here. My feet hurt thinking about the people who use the off-the-shelf stuff and go running. Do real serious runners do that still? I mean, I have runners who I know in my life, none of them just take the off-the-shelf stuff. They all go to a place like Fleet Street, if not Fleet Street, which is the oldest and the best, to have
Yes.
their feet measured and stuff. And it's not like it's $10,000 for a pair of properly designed shoes for them, right?
Correct. I mean, the shoes are going to be the same price no matter where you get them. But really, we are celebrating 50 years running this year. And what sets us apart from other sneaker stores is the Fit ID process. It is a 3D scan. You come into the store, it's a 3D scan. We measure your arch height, your instep, where you're putting your pressure, and it really sets you apart, making sure that you are in the right sneaker to maximize your comfort and your performance.
Yeah, I've had back problems. I've had foot problems for years. I got a bunch. I'm a messy old man. But, I was getting orthotics. I was getting orthotics from the podiatrist until I changed the shoe. That's the only
Exactly.
time when I finally got relief because orthotics can only go so far. You need stability in that shoe, right? So talk about how the company
Absolutely.
first got started. I don't know, Ben, if you want to hit that. How did the company first get started?
So go ahead, Ben.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, so our company is 50 years running. It was started with two women selling track shoes out of a van, going to track meets, and that's how it started. And now we are 280 stores across the country. We have 8 right here in New Jersey, and it is nonstop. So as
Mhm.
far as like the fit process, you come into the store, it's a complimentary fit, and we are just gearing up to get ready for Global Running Day.
And what makes the Northern New Jersey region such a special region for your team?
So as far as this area, so Ben here, which I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about, he is one of the fastest marathoners in the world, top 1,000. So as far as our stores, we do group runs out of our stores. We are trained to work with people that want to start a they've never run a 5K before, or they're already marathoners and want to just PR and get to that next step. So we have certified trainers in all of our stores that can work with you on a training program and get you to that next level.
So you're serious for people who are serious about running, whether it's your first marathon or you're training for your first marathon or whether you're seasoned, it doesn't matter. That's a great store to come to because you're dealing with fellow pros who do this, right? So you speak the same language.
Absolutely. So
And you got
you can
you got
run with,
Global Running Day coming up. I don't mean to cut you only
we
because we only got a
do.
couple of minutes left. I just want to hit this. You got Global
Absolutely.
Running Day coming up June 3rd. You're celebrating with the big run. So tell us about that event happening in Westfield.
Absolutely. So the big run happens. We do this every year. It's sponsored by Brooks. And what it is just a party to get everyone out to come and celebrate running and to participate in a family fun run. It's a 5K. It's out of our Westfield store. We're celebrating 50 years this year. So it's going to be a big disco party afterwards. And you end with a medal and a sweet treat. So it's going to be super fun. We invite everybody to come out, celebrate Global Running Day, and be sure to, get those shoes laced up and the right fit.
So, the thought of going through a marathon and then hanging out and going to a dance party for somebody my age, well, although I shouldn't say it because there are plenty of good runners my age. I'm not one of them, though. I confess. But the thought of that makes my back hurt. But yet I know that a true runner loves that and just wants to hang out with runners and talk about the race, right? And points in the race
Yeah.
when they probably had tough
And this
times. So
is
let's
for
have Ben.
everybody.
Ben, we haven't heard. Wait, I got to stop you. I haven't heard the guy's
Yeah.
voice. He's been standing there
Tell this
20,000
guy.
hours. Let him
This
talk.
guy. Yes.
Jesus.
Talk to him.
So Ben, what's it like 20 minutes into like a long marathon or whatever? What are you feeling? And when have you ever had issues with your feet?
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing about, the big run, luckily, is only a 5K. So it's very beginner friendly, everybody friendly. But specifically with the marathon, what makes it so difficult is just being controlled. The longer that you're able to control your breathing and understand your rhythm and your tempo just allows you to get further into the race. Marathon pace for a lot of people is easy until it's not, as we always say. So just how far can you get into the race before, you start to kind of, I feel almost that self-doubt and start to get that pain, like
Right.
how high can you get your pain tolerance? But, for a lot of people, it's just getting out there. I think running right now, it's almost never been bigger. It's almost become a trend now to get into it. So I think, Fleet Feet's become a main staple of that, and we're in an opportunity where we can really continue to help the next generation and the next group of runners just get into it. And if you are someone who wants to compete at a higher level, it's pretty hard to do that if you're not wearing the right size shoes or don't have the right support for all the running that you want to be doing.
I love it. I love Fleet Feet. You guys are awesome. And I'm teasing, by the way, when I said that. I just felt like he was eye candy there next to you. Not that you're not a beautiful lady yourself.
I'm like her
website on her shoulder. Now tell us, Maria, a website for more information. Give everybody the website. Tell everybody about that event again, please.
Absolutely. You can go to fleetfeet.com, search up a store. All the information's there. All of our training programs are there. To sign up for the big run, you can go to run sign up, keyword Westfield, and it comes right up.
Awesome. Maria Cuccinello Falso, Irish like me. Community outreach director for Fleet. Rosato Falso, it's good. You are the community outreach director for Fleet Feet, Northern New Jersey, and Ben Fleischer, marketing manager and marathoner. Good to have you both on. Congratulations on 50 years. Best of luck on the day. And thanks for coming on this morning and being good sports.
Thanks so much.
You bet. It is 44 minutes past the hour. When we come back, limited edition collaborations have become some of the biggest moments in pop culture. Now the watch world is having its turn. Who's going to talk about it? The one person who could talk about it better than anyone, on New Jersey's fashion expert, Dawn Del Russo, whom I finally got to meet in person last week. She will be here to talk about it. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, 46 minutes past the hour. It is a heat wave. We're in the middle of it. Meteorologist Mike Favetta to talk more about it. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Yes, yesterday made 99 degrees as the high, record high over in Newark. So very, very hot weather. And today we start off even warmer with the warmer trends that keeps our temperatures rising quickly throughout this morning. 93 is our forecast heat index by 1 o'clock today. But then as the storms come through and start to cool us down, we'll notice that we drop quickly into the 70s and then 60s and then 50s overnight. Might even be some spots in the 40s by tomorrow morning. So Climate Central, based in Princeton, New Jersey, the organization that tracks climate change, has a higher than average chance of this heat being due to climate change, about 1 to 2 times increased chance of this heat being due to climate change, and that even extends down toward most of the Midwest. So if you look down toward New Jersey, where it's not supposed to be as hot this time of year, especially down where the breadbasket is in New Jersey, down toward the areas in the agricultural section of the southern part of the state, Cumberland County, Cape May County, the outer coastal plain, seeing very warm weather there, especially for today, where usually it's not this hot as of yet. Well, with that, we have the severe threat, and that's later on this afternoon. Not anticipating widespread severe weather. That shade of green indicates a marginal risk of severe weather. So within 50 miles of a point, best chance of seeing a thunderstorm is likely beginning around 2 o'clock today. But we've got the updates for you all day long right here on the website, onnj.com, and on our streaming channel, ONNJ. So if you hear that thunder today, Ken, you know where to turn.
The thunder, good, the thunder. Okay, now so that word will be associated with that song forever. We should mention, by the way, and want to do this every half hour. Congratulations to you and the entire ONNJ team on nabbing 8 Telly Awards, and the Tellys
And you
are
too, Ken.
to. Oh, thank you, sir. I'm just a bronzy. But you guys, you've been around so on this channel, so you guys have won awards before with the Tellys. But so more congratulations to the entire team: Izzy, Pam, Gerald, Lisa, Sean. I'm forgetting names now. Sean, Brandon, all the people who work so hard to put together all the programming that you see 24 hours a day. It's a small but very hardworking, talented team of people. So I just want to say to everybody at ONNJ, thank you for welcoming me on. I've been here about 16, 17 months now. It's been an amazingly wonderful experience for me, and working with Mike and Pam, our director, who is the person we talk to all the time, who is unknown. We're working on getting a camera and a mic for Pam. You know that, right?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she's gonna love that.
Better brush up on our
Oh,
hockey
no,
trivia.
you're not. Yes, Pam, you will be on. So this way we're going to throw you curveballs, and you have to punch your own camera up. The Pam cam, right? It's going to be the Pam cam. You know what? I'm going to ask Gerald, one of our owners. Gerald and Lisa are the owners of the channel. I'm going to ask for a button here so that I could activate the Pam cam. That'll violate some kind of a rule, I'm sure. But anyway, but congratulations again on winning a Telly, getting 8 of them for the station, the little channel that could. We appreciate everybody's efforts, and thank you again. And thank you to the people at Telly, the Telly Awards too, for that. All right, Mike, we'll go deal with our heat. Thank you, sir. Let's see. It's 7:50 East Coast, 4:50 West Coast time. We have one issue to tell you about right now. Let's go to 1 and 9 if we can. There is a disabled vehicle, 1 and 9 Tunley Avenue northbound by near Route 3 North. And look at this absolute mess of bumper-to-bumper traffic. That is a nightmare, and that is causing major delays. Left lane is closed, and that's going to be there for quite a while till they can deal with that absolute mess of traffic. Good Lord for that. There's a disabled vehicle, Jersey Turnpike right now, inner roadway southbound by interchange 14, 1 and 9 in Newark, partial left lane blockage there. And then we have the Hudson River crossings, Holland and Lincoln, both 35 minutes now. GWB, there we go. And there's the Holland. You can see the stop traffic in the middle. GWB upper and lower levels, heavy but crawling. And you could see right there, that's moving at about 35 minutes in. Quickly on the West Coast, we just want to tell you about a report of a fire. It's in Altadena, the 101 at the 134, and defective traffic signals at the 126 and Walcott Way in Newhall. Well, from luxury fashion houses to viral sneaker drops, limited edition collaborations have become some of the biggest moments in pop culture. Now, the watch world is having its turn. The new Audemars Piguet X-Swatch collaboration, I think that's how you pronounce it, has sparked massive crowds, overnight lines, and a resale frenzy around the world. To talk about it, our fashion expert, Dawn Del Russo from livetheglamour.com, that's glamour with an O-U-R, to break down why everyone is talking about the new Royal Pop collection. Good morning, Dawn.
Good morning, Ken. So nice to see you.
I got to meet Dawn last week. We're at a speaking event in Peapack, New Jersey, and it was like, we've talked on the air for a year together. We've never met face to face. It was so nice to meet you. Well, tomorrow or next week, I'll put the picture up. I forgot to put the picture up.
It was so nice. No, it was really nice.
That was so fun.
Yeah,
that was a great evening.
I had to tag on from our conversation last week because this collaboration is unbelievable.
There are videos all over the internet, right? There we go. Thank you, Pam. Pam's amazing. got the picture of us together at this event in PPAC. It was
Nice.
a real estate event that we were at for people looking to buy
It's
houses or
great.
renovate their homes. So that was a lot of fun. Thank you, Pam, for that. So this thing with the watches, this started small. Now that people are like killing each other to get to these watches. We have the video. This is amazing.
Yeah, they really are. It's crazy. And it's funny, when I first heard about it, it was a couple months ago, and I didn't believe it. I didn't even think it was a real collaboration. I thought it was like AI. They were making this up. There's no way Audemars and Swatch were going to team up. They're so drastically different. I mean, you can't, an Audemars Piguet watch, you can't get for under like $40,000. So for them to team up with Swatch just seemed outrageous. And then now you see here the crowds were wild. A lot of the crowds, even in like New York and New Jersey, they had to like be shut down because they were so crazy. But these are the watches. It is called the Royal Pop Collection. It is based off of the Royal Oak Collection from the original like 1980s. And they did these really fun like 8 pop colors, really, really bright, so different from what Audemars typically does with their watches. And like you can see it here, they're doing it off of like handbags. It's supposed to be a pocket watch style, which honestly shocked a lot of people because everyone thought, okay, we're going to get a real watch here that I can wear on my wrist. And, no, it's a pocket style watch. And I think they went this way because they didn't want to be too close to what they typically, their typical watches are. And they had to go along with what the Swatch style was too. It's a really unbelievable collaboration when you talk so high. And then now this is a $400 pocket watch that you can buy. It's really, really extreme.
And you talked last week about the collaboration of the super expensive older generation and the younger, more affordable, combining so that you introduce to a new crowd a traditional thing. Like, so in this case,
Yes.
Audemars Piguet, which is, as you mentioned, it's like a Rolex for those that don't realize, or a Movado. It's in that class of timepiece. You buy one of these things to pass on generation to generation, and then to go to a Swatch, which you can get for $100 or $200,
Right.
and combine and come up with something that's 400. But I see that tied to a handbag. If you got that watch and it's in that demand, would you just walk around with it hanging off your handbag?
I do not think I would. I was a little bit surprised at how they presented this. I think a lot of people were. I don't think anybody really expected it. And what's really interesting? There are a ton of these newer, younger watch companies or brands that are trying to use it as an insert. So they're like rushing to create a band that you can insert just the face timepiece into, so you can wear it as an actual watch, because no one really wants to carry it as a pocket watch. Although pocket watches were, for a long time, the thing. I have one. It's funny. I have a very old pocket watch from my grandfather that they used to carry. So they were a thing, but I just don't think anyone's doing it now. And these really bright colors. So Swatch, it's so heavily leans to Swatch that I think if you didn't really see the name printed on this, you would never know it was a collaboration.
Yeah, for those too young, probably everybody but me, for those too young to realize what a pocket watch was not meant to go in your pocket here. It's when you'd wear your suit, you'd wear a vest, button-down vest. There would be a little, in fact, you could still see a vestigial vest in a lot of the vest. If you have a 3-piece suit, which kind of went out of style, came back and is going out again. If you have a 3-piece suit, there's like a little stitch here that often is not even available. It's a faux pocket. But that's where you used to have the pocket watch, and it showed like you had money if you saw the chain coming from here, linking inside. That was, the train engineers used to have it and whatnot. The conductors used to have it to make sure the train was on time. That's where the pocket watch came from. And now it's just sort of a vestigial thing. So do you think they will come down in price, or are these things like a limited edition?
So this is a limited edition. They're $400, which is super affordable. But what is wild is they're selling for up to $25,000 on resale sites, which I don't even know if people are doing it. Swatch said that they will have these in stock for a while. So they actually said don't rush. It said, within the next few months they're gonna keep them in stock, which I think is very interesting. I wonder if that's really true. It rarely happens that they keep keep anything like this when it's a limited edition collection? And then if that is the case, will we be able to still, go to the store and buy it for $400? Right now, they are reselling like crazy on every site that you can imagine. And like I said, they're finding out ways to create a watch band that you can insert this into so you can wear it as an actual watch. And the proceeds, which is interesting, are going to they're trying to do it to keep watchmaking alive, like the traditional classic style of watchmaking alive.
That's fascinating. I didn't even realize that
Yeah,
that was a thing, but that is fascinating because I guess it's all electronic and lasers and
yeah,
computers now. I mean, that used to be done by hand.
exactly.
Imagine the intricacy. The Swiss people, that's why they're so quiet. They just sit there all day and just do this. Amazing. The website is livetheglamour.com. That's livetheglamour.com. On New Jersey fashion expert and now watch expertista, Dawn Del Russo. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Ken.
You bet. It is 58 minutes past the hour. A reminder, the debate for the 2nd District Congressional primary takes place tonight, 6 p.m. at Stockton University's Campus Center. 4 candidates take the stage: Tim Alexander, Zach Mullock, Terry Reese, and Bailey Winder. Watch the debate live here at ONNJ. And for those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news. If you're watching ONNJ, we'll be right back live with New Jersey news, opinion, weather, and traffic. Thanks for watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. Very good morning, 8:01, Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Middle of a heat wave, hump day. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says change is coming, though. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Yeah, we are heat wave peaked yesterday with that 99-degree actual air temperature over in Newark. Wild to have almost 100 just a few days before Memorial Day, only to be followed by rainy, cloudy weather for the holiday weekend ahead. So we start off this morning at 81. It is a warm and muggy start. Temperatures even warmer than yesterday at this time, anywhere between 2 and 5 degrees. You can thank a southwesterly breeze for that, kind of pushing in more of that warm and humid air. The sunshine this morning heating us up, but the clouds and storms that are on the way later on today cooling us off rather quickly. Those storms arrive just after the lunch hour, so we're clear until about noon. Then the storms begin to bubble up here on the map, especially after, say, 3, 4 o'clock, and the brunt of them occur just during the evening rush. You see some shades of embedded purple in there. Some of the storms could bring some gusty winds and some heavy downpours, even some lightning. Once the sun sets around 8, 9 o'clock, a lot of this activity dwindles down to just some gentle rains. But the overnight into tomorrow is also wet, so we have quite a bit of rain that lingers throughout our Thursday. Tomorrow evening, after about 5 or 6 o'clock, you'll notice the clearing take over, but it's brief, and it's probably the only dry period we get for the upcoming weekend, because while Friday morning is just cloudy, more rain comes in for Friday evening, and that sets the stage for a very wet weekend, with that rain continuing pretty much all day long on Saturday. And then again, yes, more rain on Sunday. Last thing you want to hear about, especially if you have the weekend plans for the holiday, because probably doing a lot of indoor activities. And look at the temperatures too. It's not like you could be outside and enjoy the rain, because it'll be a chilly one at 59 degrees as the high. Ken, will start off each morning in the low 50s, so a very wet and cool forecast ahead. We'll try and find some sunny days on the 7-day. It's coming up in a few minutes.
All right. Very good, Mike. Thank you. It is 72 degrees right now in northern New Jersey, but it's 77 inland in Trenton, so it gets warmer as you go inland right now. 71 at the shore in Cape May, 71 also in Vineland. I'm sure that'll peak up just a little bit as well as the morning goes on. We have some issues in terms of traffic. Let's go over to the Garden State Parkway. There's a crash reported now southbound, south of exit 149, Route 506, Bloomfield, all lanes open, but you can see the slow traffic going into it as a result. Let's tell you about what's going on 1 and 9 Tunley Avenue. There's a disabled right now, northbound by 495 Route 3. That's in North Bergen, right by the intro where you could take 495, or I should say you get onto Route 3. You know, where you come on from North Bergen, you could take that there. Well, the left lane is closed there. That's causing an absolute mess on the approach to Route 3. Let's go over to the 295 tour. Pam, do you still have that camera? It's 295. Yes, you do. Good for you. Thank you. So you see the vehicle broken down there or off to the side. That was a vehicle fire. They extinguished the fire. This is on 295 northbound at exit 63, Route 33, Hamilton Township. All lanes open, but a little brake check as you pass through there. And we also have some delays going into the Hudson River right now, the Hudson River crossings. The Lincoln Tunnel is your best bet. It's about 25 minutes over, but the Holland Tunnel very slow from 78 on 139. If you look through the schmutz on the lens toward the right, all those lanes stop. That's going to cost you 35 to 40 minutes in. GWB upper and lower level heavy, but moving just very, very slowly. 40 minutes in. Upper level will be on the right side of your screen, lower on the left, and that's going to cost you a solid 40 into Manhattan. 8:05 is our time, and innovation is helping shape the future of New Jersey, and one organization is working to spotlight the people and ideas leading that charge. Innovate 100 brings together entrepreneurs, innovators, business leaders, and change makers from across the state to celebrate creativity, collaboration, and forward-thinking solutions. On New Jersey's Lisa Marie Falbo was nominated this year and took to the floor to speak to some of her fellow recipients.
Why is New Jersey the place to be for innovation?
I think there is a lot of talent, although maybe it's not so much commercialized or advertised, but there is a lot of activity, a lot of opportunity, and I think the state supports a lot innovation and this kind of activities.
What is your background?
I am an engineer by training. I am an immigrant from Turkey. I came to the States 30 years ago. I used to work for Pfizer, who brought me over, and then I went to a biotech startup, which we took public, and then worked for Becton Dickinson for a couple of years to run some of their businesses. And the last 15 years, I'm on the advisory side with Ernst & Young, helping our life sciences clients.
Once New Jersey gets you, there's no escaping, right?
New Jersey certainly has been a very attractive place for startups. There are mechanisms from New Jersey DEA or New Jersey Institute of Innovation or New Jersey Institute of Technology to really nurture your idea as part of a tech transfer or as your own doing. And there is mechanisms for venture capital, for angel funding, to take that concept to patients and if it's not a life sciences, to other uses in digital health or deep tech. There are many opportunities, and New Jersey has been a good state to support that ecosystem.
I'm very excited. So I was honored because I worked on the Route 80 mine collapse. So as well as the Gateway Tunnel. So two great jobs, two emergency situations that we had to kind of address the situation very quickly and keep people flowing. So
New Jersey and its infrastructure keeps you on your toes.
it does. We have many projects, hundreds of projects at the same time. I have 60 projects in construction right now. So it's always keeps me on my toes. So
Why is this the place to innovate, the Garden State?
Well, look where we're at. I mean, I flew into Newark today, and when you walk around this room and you see all these different types of people, all these different industries that are being represented, there's a large swath of differences in terms of the people that are doing innovative and interesting things for New Jersey.
Same question for you. Why is this the place to be if you want to make something of yourself?
Well, if you look around this room, everybody in here, it's a microcosm for that innovation, right? Everybody you ask has a different reason, a different why, and it's innovating to just be here in the first place. And to be in a streamline where everybody has different ideas, it really is special.
Well, I know there's a new TV studio opening up in Long Branch area, and there's a lot of innovation. The biotech people are all here, the AI people are all here. So in this room, there's 600 people, and I would probably say 500 of them are in innovators.
And that was our Lisa Marie Falbo at the event. Joining us this morning is Jim Baroud, CEO of Innovation Plus and Innovate 100, to talk about the growing innovation ecosystem here in New Jersey and the impact these efforts are having across industries and communities. We say good morning to Jim. Good to have you on.
Good morning, Ken. How are you? Thank you for highlighting this.
Well, it's a big deal, and New Jersey needs this. Talk about Innovate 100 and how the idea came together.
Well, as you know, Ken, I've been supporting the innovation ecosystem for my whole career. I used to run an entrepreneurship center for many years, Tech Trade Association, and there's so many smart people in the state, and I've obviously been hosting galas for a long time, but this one is special because it highlights innovation leaders from across industry. And that's really special because these are the movers and shakers that make everything happen. And they typically are not the CEO or the president. They're typically the people, one or two or three levels under. And most of the time, they're not sort of recognized. And this is just a great opportunity to recognize people from all different levels, all different industries. And I loved how Lisa picked out people from each of those folks from different industries: transportation, logistics, healthcare, life sciences, probably one or two others, marketing. I can't remember all of them, but it was just
film and broadcast. Look at. I don't mean to step on you, Jim. Look at film and broadcast in the state too. That 10, 15 years ago was unheard of. Today, it's one of the major industries in our state. Who would have thunk?
I know. And, someone came up to me afterwards and said, we need a separate category for film and entertainment. And that's next year. That's what we're going to do, because now you guys have been doing it for a while, but now we have all these new studios coming in, and there's a whole new industry that's just surging. And it's like top 3 in the country now. I mean, it's amazing.
And Innovate 100, of course, is there to help make it all happen. But, I don't think people who are watching who are not in industry and not in business really grasp how important what you're doing is. And talk about the hope of or at least what you hope to accomplish for innovators and entrepreneurs here in New Jersey, and the hope that what you're doing will help inspire more.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we have 9 million people in the state. So there are just so many smart innovation folks, entrepreneurial folks that are under the radar. And so whatever we can do to discover, to elevate, to publicize these people, to inspire others, and to inspire more collaboration so that we can all work together, that's really the whole goal. And now we've done this for 3 years now. And there's this great cohort of honorees, but there's so many more. And that's the beautiful thing, is highlighting those new people, many of which I have not heard of. And again, I've been around this ecosystem for a long time. And that's sort of the really heartening and heartwarming part of it, is to really highlight them and make this state stronger and elevate it to the rest of the world, not just the rest of the country. We are like, an innovation capital of the world.
And you look at how compact New Jersey is, but where it is. New Jersey, they love to say it's the bedroom community of Manhattan and Philadelphia. Yeah, that's right. That means all of the brains are right here, and we share the first largest and the fourth largest market in the United States, and the most business-friendly country on the planet, right here, and we got them all present. And how important is it that you have the press flesh moments where you have the gatherings of all these individuals together in one room to just look at one another, shake hands, meet one another, and talk, versus online chat, which goes so far? How important are these moments like you had, these gatherings, to have everybody in one place?
Well, you know, they're increasingly more important, Ken, because everyone's so tired of looking at screens. And so there's a resurgence of people wanting to interact in person. And that's one of the great things about this event is we focus on the networking, the socializing, the mingling. There's a short, ceremony in the theater, but most of the time we want people talking to each other, making new relationships, strengthening old relationships, and starting new collaborations going forward. So that's the beauty of it. And people really sort of appreciate that because they don't want to be stuck sitting down for 3 hours. They want to be mingling and meeting new people.
And that is what you got to do. Those events, it's amazing. You will always find somebody at an event like that you will be collaborating with down the line. You're going to say, gosh, where was this person all these years? You have to have those meet and greets. They're perfect. Jim, tell everybody a website for more info.
Sure. Well, this one's Innovate New Jersey, and we have some videos there that highlight the winners. So that's a lot of fun. And then we start that nomination process for next year. So think of those folks. We'll start that toward the end of the year, probably December. But just keep those in mind, and we'll publicize it on this program when we get closer so that everyone can sort of nominate the innovation leader in their life.
You are truly one of the gems of the New Jersey business community. Jim Baroud, CEO of Innovation Plus and Innovate 100. Thank you so much for what you do and for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Ken.
You bet. It is now 8:14. We have 72 degrees already in northern New Jersey, 77 in Trenton. We'll have a full forecast and lots more when we come back. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:16, taking calls at 888-658-0234. We bring in meteorologist Mike Favetta, and I want to say to the entire team, to Mike, my dear friend and colleague here, congratulations. On New Jersey is the proud recipient, on the whole, all of our shows together garnered 8 Telly Awards And for those who are saying, what are Telly Awards? Well, Telly Awards are sort of like the if I can mention another award, it's not the Emmy Awards, but it is like the Emmy Awards for streaming channels and what we do for digital and streaming. So it is our equivalent. And we were very honored by winning 8. This show, particularly on New Jersey mornings, won 1. Our first, we're only here 16 months. So we're very proud of that. So thank you to everybody on the team. Of course, Mike and Gerald and Lisa, who are the owners of the channel. And notice I lumped you in with the owners of the channel. And Mike's like, I'm not getting the check.
My
what are you
pockets
talking
are
about?
so heavy with all of that revenue. Let me walk over here and kind of sludge through this weather forecast because I don't know what to do with all this revenue, Ken.
And then, of course, I would be remiss to not mention Pam, our director, and Brandon and Sean, of course, who are production people, the video editing, and of course, Izzy, our producer. Thank you all, because we could not do this without the team at all. And we thank you all for all you do. So there we go. Let me leave it to you, Mike, sir, with our heat.
Well, thank you, Ken, for leading the way, guiding us through what is a very interesting time in local news, especially when we have different channels, outlets right across the country. We're going to start with your New Jersey forecast, though, because it is a warm one today. And it's rare that you see temperatures in the 90s with rain, but in fact, that's what starts today. We begin very warm, sunshine warms us to the 90s, and then the rain comes in this afternoon. So you kind of have both going on here across central New Jersey with a very warm start. And that high humidity, mostly clear skies. Had a few clouds last night, a little sprinkle that came through Ocean and Monmouth County last evening, but it's the clear sky this morning that allows for a fast warm up. And with that, back up to the very high level of UV, you could burn rather quickly with an 8 on the scale. So yes, we're approaching the summer solstice, plenty of warm weather ahead with the dry, sunny skies this morning. Then we get to the afternoon, and it's a very different story. Here's the line of showers and storms that comes on in. Gives us our wet weather throughout the afternoon. Temperatures take a tumble down into the 40s and 50s overnight tonight. So a big drop, especially early on our Thursday. Rain continues for tomorrow morning. We get a break tomorrow night into early Friday morning, and then it stays clear going into just the first half of the day on Friday for northern New Jersey. Southern New Jersey, you stay wet pretty much right throughout this weekend. So it is not ideal to be out on the beach and boardwalk, not just due to the rain, 50s and windy with that rain throughout Saturday and even Sunday starting off very wet. Likely see that wet weather last into the first part of Monday as well. The long-range futurecast showing a little bit of clearing taking over by Monday, but again, still a passing shower, not exactly clearing out entirely until we get to the middle of next week. And even for Thursday, looks to be another round of wet weather coming in. So yeah, pretty wet this weekend with a little bit drier weather on Sunday, but probably not till Sunday afternoon. So plan on that shower activity, Ken, right through most of the weekend.
Yikes. There you go. Well,
Yeah.
change. All right, Mike. Thank you, sir. In the meantime, it feels like it's 100 degrees here in the studio. It is 72 degrees northern New Jersey, 77 in Trenton because it's further inland, 71 right now down the shore in Cape May. 20 minutes past 8 o'clock, and at Rider University, caps are flying and careers already taking off. The class of 2026 celebrated commencement with more than just diplomas in hand. In fact, many graduates already stepped right into jobs, internships, and leadership roles across the country. New Jersey's Lisa Marie Falbo takes us to the big day. It was this past Saturday for a look at how Rider is now preparing students for life beyond the classroom.
A milestone moment at Rider University as the class of 2026 prepares to turn the page toward its next chapter. From future educators and business leaders, graduates are stepping into careers already beginning to take shape well before crossing the stage. This year's commencement ceremony highlighted not only academic achievement, but the real-world experiences helping Rider students transition directly into the workforce. For radio and podcasting major Allison Burton, a Rider internship with SiriusXM led to a full-time position in Washington, D.C. as an associate producer for the Fantasy Sports Channel.
It's surreal, honestly. Like, I didn't expect myself to have a full-time job straight out of college. I really expected, especially with the job market that I'm in, it's kind of almost impossible to find something to break through as a person as young as me, but I'm glad I'm able to secure something, and it's great.
Accounting major PJ McCall Jr. also entered graduation day with confidence, already securing a job offer months before graduation.
The job I've had lined up since the fall has been a tax staff at EY, which has brought a lot of relief since it's pretty comforting knowing that I already have something planned after graduation than looking to probably find something after I graduate. So it's been pretty comforting. It's brought a lot of relief and also some excitement to get out and start and begin working in a career that I want to go into.
University leadership says hands-on learning, mentorship, and career preparation continue to be central to the Rider experience.
Not only are they polished in the classroom, but they're polished in real life. And frankly, a lot of those experiences turn into jobs because they're out and about doing things in their major with employers, and that gives them a great opportunity to build that bridge.
Graduates also heard from honorary degree recipient and commencement speaker, Petty Officer Scott Ruskin, a Rider alumnus whose message focused on leadership, perseverance, and embracing opportunity.
I think Rider overall, the 4 years I was here, it kind of just shaped me into the person I am, right? Like I have great leadership skills that I was able to pick up from being in Rider, being at clubs, being a member of sports teams, being in charge of classes, doing projects, presenting, getting hands-on experience.
As families, faculty, and friends gathered to celebrate years of hard work, one thing was clear: the Rider class of 2026 is stepping confidently into its future. For On New Jersey, I'm Lisa Marie Faldo.
Thank you for that, Lisa. And at a time when small businesses and entrepreneurs are navigating a rapidly changing economy, students at Rider University are getting real-world experience helping companies solve actual business challenges, and they are earning national recognition for it. Rider students recently captured first place in the National Small Business Institute Consulting Project of the Year competition, continuing a long tradition of success for the university's entrepreneurship program. So joining us this morning is Dr. Ronald Cook, Professor Emeritus and Director of Entrepreneurial Studies and the Small Business Institute at Rider University. Good morning to you, Dr. Cook. Good to have you on.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You bet. And what does this recognition mean for the university and the students?
It is such a significant honor. We have had this program in place, the Small Business Institute, since 1994. And the ability of what we're doing here with these consulting classes is we have student teams through a course that I teach go out, and what they do is assess organization, a small business or a nonprofit, and they are looking to see what kind of issues and problems that they might have, that then they come up and produce a consulting report. And I'm teaching the students how they would be an outside consultant. And then I take those projects and then we submit them through a professional association called the Small Business Institute Association nationally, that has schools from around the country, and we look and produce and have our projects compete against other schools across the country. This victory that we accomplished here just recently for a project that was done last fall, it shows the ability of these students to go into an unknown situation and really engage with a company, get up to speed, and make useful recommendations. And I tell the students, if you can do that once, you can do that again and again and again. And that is just a phenomenal critical thinking skill. This victory that we had is now our 7th national title since we started competing, along with a number of 2nd and 3rd place finishes.
That's amazing. 7. That's amazing. And one thing that stands out, of course, students are not working on hypotheticals. They're actually out there working with real businesses and real organizations. So how important is the hands-on experience versus the book experience?
Oh, absolutely. I'm telling the students, you're going to go in and you have to learn how to, what I tell them, manage ambiguity. Because there's not going to be automatically the back of the book, you're looking for the correct answer, or you're going to come to me as the instructor and say, what's the right answer to this problem? You're dealing with what these companies and experiences are is real world situations. And when you have that kind of confidence and ability to come into, and you really think about it, you're going into an environment, a situation that you didn't know anything about. And my students have not been consultants before. And so they have to get up to speed as well as learn the process and then produce meaningful, practical recommendations for the particular company. And the companies and the benefits that they receive from having someone come in from the outside, as you could imagine, some of these businesses, some of these nonprofits, they're busy running the day-to-day activities. They don't have an opportunity sometimes to step back a little bit and assess what's our biggest issue, what's our biggest problem. And so my students have the ability to do what we'd tell them a strategic audit of what's going on in the company and then come up with some practical recommendations. And they can show that when they finish up their degree to another company for a job interview. Some of my students over the years have wanted to work in a consulting company. And so that practical experience, that engagement into the community is just critical.
Yeah, well, it's like the one student who said also, he said, it's nice working in your senior year in school, knowing that when you're done and you're graduating, you got a job waiting for you. There is nothing better than that. And you could start that career with experience so that you could go right in feet first and have that career going. The website is rider.edu, rider.edu. Great university here in New Jersey. Dr. Ronald Cook, Professor Emeritus and Director of Entrepreneurial Studies and the Small Business Institute at Rider University. Thank you for what you're doing and for coming on this morning.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You bet. It is 8:28. A reminder, the debate for the 2nd District Congressional Primary takes place tonight, 6 p.m., Stockton University's Campus Center. 4 candidates taking the stage: Tim Alexander, Zach Mullick, Terry Reese, and Bailey Winder. Watch the debate live here on ONNJ. When we come back, across New Jersey, more women are stepping into leadership roles and using their voices to help shape policies that impact future generations. YWCA Northern New Jersey hosted a special screening of a documentary that talks all about it. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're back in 2. Good morning. 77 degrees in Trenton, 73 northern New Jersey, Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. It is 8:31. I'm Ken Rosato, and welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Middle of a heat wave. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Middle of our heat wave, but the heat wave comes to an end very quickly by this early afternoon. The clear sky this morning getting that temperature going quickly, warming well into the 90s down the shore, even at the beaches, upper 80s with the southwesterly wind, keeping the sea breeze away. But the storms that arrive later on this afternoon, probably as soon as 2 or 3 o'clock down the shore, will cool things off in a hurry. So that wind direction pushing in from the southwest right now, but eventually changing direction to blow from the north and west. That will allow for a much cooler feel to take over the next couple days. It's also going to lower the pollen dramatically. So we're at the very high level for trees and grasses, even weeds. I think we'll see that number drop significantly over the next coming days. There was our high, 99 degrees yesterday. If we do it again today, which likely won't, last one was 1996, it's going to start off cool and clear this morning. But again, by this afternoon, very wet weather on the way. And even with that, the severe weather outlook for this afternoon, not even anticipating a slight risk of severe weather. Marginal means we'll just have some general run-of-the-mill thunderstorms with a small chance for some gusty winds over 56 miles per hour. Even with that, the flash flood risk is just low down there across most of central New Jersey. The rain chances are pretty high over the next several days, especially for tomorrow. And Friday morning is okay, but Saturday has our wettest day this weekend, and then lowering chances as we head into next week. So it's going to be wet over the next few days, especially beginning this afternoon with the cold front passing through, and then line after line of showers and storms over the coming days. I think Friday, or rather Thursday evening into Friday morning, it's pretty dry. That's our only dry period. And then we're right back to the rain for Saturday, and that rain even lingers into most of Sunday morning. Probably get some dry weather back in the picture by Sunday afternoon. So the 7-day forecast has our temperatures going from the 90s to the 50s, a big change with overnight lows in the 40s. Rain chances each day into Sunday and Monday, but better and drier as we head into Tuesday of next week. Even the shore points featuring quite a bit of wet weather through the holiday weekend, with drier weather, of course, by Tuesday when everybody's back to school and work, Ken.
Of course, right, because we don't want nice weather for Memorial Day. Stop it. What's wrong with you? All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. And we should say 73 degrees now, northern New Jersey, 77 in Trenton. We have a lot of issues on the roads. Let's go right now to Route 3 by Main Avenue. We got a mess. There is a crash on Route 3 westbound, Main Avenue, Clifton. Right lane of 3 lanes closed. You see the bumper-to-bumper traffic on that road, which is normally busy at this hour of the morning. And now we have even more busyness. Of course, the good news is westbound is usually not as busy as eastbound, because the eastbounders are going into the city. So this is westbound, but nonetheless heavy, as you can see on the screen there. We have a disabled vehicle, 1 and 9 truck route southbound by Jacobus Avenue in Kearney with the left lane of 2 lanes closed. I know we have a camera shot of that too. This is again 1 and 9 truck route, disabled vehicle southbound Jacobus Avenue, Kearney, left lane of 2 lanes closed, and that is causing about a 2-mile delay. Just an absolute mess. Garden State Parkway, there's a crash northbound north of exit 157, Elmwood Park by Route 46, left lane is blocked there. And on 295, there's a crash by Sloan Avenue, Hamilton Township with the left shoulder closed. Another crash on the Garden State southbound south of exit 149 in Bloomfield, all lanes open though, and back to 295, vehicle fire. This is northbound at exit 63, Hamilton Township. All lanes are open. Go to the Hudson River crossings, the approach to the Holland Tunnel right now, 139 from Route 70. It's going to cost you 40 minutes in, bumper to bumper traffic. You can see those middle lanes. Lincoln Tunnel, not so bad. It's only 30 minutes in via the 495 approach, and then the GWB upper and lower has been heavy all morning. Now it is lightening up. Upper level on the right, lower on the left, 25 to 30 minutes in. 8:36 is our time, and across New Jersey and around the country, more women are stepping into leadership roles and using their voices to help shape policies that impact future generations. Recently, YWCA Northern New Jersey hosted a screening of the documentary Politics is a Mother at Montclair State University, bringing together filmmakers and community leaders for an important conversation about motherhood and leadership. Helen Ashantu is the CEO of YWCA Northern New Jersey. We say good morning to Helen. Good to have you on.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Tell us about the inspiration behind bringing Politics as a Mother to New Jersey and hosting this event.
Well, we actually sponsored the film for the Teaneck International Film Festival last year, which is when we first became aware of it. And we were cheering on Francine Weinberg Graf as she was making the film. So we were so thrilled to see it finally come to fruition. But the thought behind bringing it this year to Montclair State was it was our Mother's Day celebration this year at the YWCA. We thought, what better way to celebrate motherhood than try to encourage more of them to think about running for office?
Well, there you go. And if you look at it politically, more and more women are getting into politics, period. But they needed the inspiration and they needed things like film to remind them that, hey, this is an open game. You should be in this. Dive in. And it's nice to see there's been a response. Now, the film and panel discussion focused on the intersection of leadership and caregiving and public service. And why was it so important to have those conversations openly?
Well, I think, very often we think as mothers that we're just too busy for something like this, that, we're so busy juggling, many of us, working, full-time jobs, part-time jobs, that are, paid out in the community. We're doing a lot of our unpaid work in our homes, with our kids' caregiving. And, we just think we can't take on one more thing. But the reality of it is women are out there in society and they are dealing with the realities around healthcare, dealing with the realities around childcare, dealing with the realities about what's happening locally in our communities and the impact of education challenges, the impact, that we're seeing with small businesses because of their experiences, supporting their families. And, so when you have that real life experience, it's a great opportunity to be able to use it to help shape and support our communities by running for office. And the film itself, is really used the legacy of Senator Loretta Weinberg, who very interestingly enough, didn't really jump into her seat, her elected official seat at that level until she was in her 50s. So I think a lot of women think that running for office is something you have to start doing young. But the reality of it is, any stage of your life, when you're ready, is the time to do it. And because of the work that mothers do and the engagement that they have in our community, they are great candidates. We had a wonderful panel. We had Mayor Jenny Mundell of the city of Bloomfield. We had Teska Frisbee, who's a councilwoman in Trenton. We had Senator Holly Shapizi, who oversees our, northern New Jersey area. And together they all spoke about that juggling act and what propelled them to get into the political space. And, for some of them, it really was about, what was happening with their own child that they ended up learning so much. Councilwoman Teska Frisbee has a differently able child. And so she was, working so hard with the community and the lack of supports that she was dealing with, that it propelled her to run for office locally in the city of Trenton.
And the beauty about having women of different ages and different stages in their lives is that brings a different perspective in each case. A woman in her 20s who may have a baby, and I'm just throwing out there a
Yes.
generic example, has one life experience that is very important to be represented. And then a woman who is in her 60s who has a lifetime and a family and a business career and everything else has a whole different perspective. And they're both valuable and necessary because they represent their segments of society.
They are, and as we know, whether you're sitting in a local council seat in your community, whether you're a mayor in your for your town, whether you're sitting on a planning board, whether you're running for assembly or running for senate, they're all places that the experience that you have can be positively impact policy, practice, the funds that are coming into your communities, all are very much impacted by the voices that we have in those elected and appointed seats. And we just want to make sure that representation, is diverse, in those spaces. And I think Mother's Day was a perfect time to really elevate, and this film of Politics as a Mother, to really elevate the fact that, mothers very often don't get into those spaces because they think they're not for them. But we want to continue to encourage that to happen. We have some wonderful, women in the assembly that are mothers, Assemblywoman Park. I mean, just, so many that kind of come to mind. And, we're just so lucky that they're there because they're bringing forward legislation and policy that probably would be forgotten if we didn't have their voices.
Talk about for a moment the challenges that women face that are so unique in terms of childcare and trying to work and whatnot, the amount of time that men just don't get. I'm sorry, they just don't get. Women, men just think a child will be taken care of. Well, who's going to take care of the kid? And childcare is so expensive, especially here in New Jersey, that it's in many cases cost prohibitive for women to do anything but take care of their child. Not that that isn't uber important. That is the first and foremost most important thing. But do you find that that's one of the biggest challenges for women today who want to live a full life? They want to have children because, years ago we talked about wait till you're 50 and have a kid. Now we're realizing, that's not maybe the best thing. Have your child, but maybe society can do more to help the woman along to have the child, raise the child, and do things like be in business or elective office.
Look, at the end of the day, the supports that will be put in place for caregiving are going to come from those elected seats. And that's why it is so important. I mean, here in New Jersey, obviously, we have our first, not our first, but our, we're happy to have a woman governor now who does understand the challenges of childcare and motherhood, in that seat. But it is absolutely a juggling act. And there's a lot of supports that could be put in place for women. But again, if you don't have women sitting in those seats talking about those things, they're not going to happen. They're not going to even be discussed. When you have groups in the community like the YWCA who, go forward to our legislators and talk about the issues that we're seeing in the community, they're not going to be heard the same for individuals that don't have the lived experience. So it is so important to make sure
I need to step on you only because we're hitting a hard break. It's going to cut us off. But
Yes.
just a reminder to all the men who are in elective office out there, you have a mom, you have a sister, you have a wife, you have a
Yes.
daughter. Remember that when you vote. Helen Archanto, CEO of YWCA Northern New Jersey, please come back again. Such an important topic. I'm so glad you brought the documentary in, and thanks for coming on this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. And it is now time to hit our commercial break. When we come back, our friends at AARP New Jersey will bring us a segment on how to navigate changes in the SNAP and Medicaid programs as we speak with the Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Dr. Stephen Cha. We're coming right back. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Ken Rosato at 8:46. Meteorologist Mike Favetta at the end of our heat wave. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Ken. It's been a hot one every day, reaching 90 plus. We'll do it again today. We're already on our way to reach 90 degrees. And then the rain comes in, get a solid inch of wet weather. And this is just through Friday. You continue the clock here and take it in through the weekend, especially for Saturday into Sunday. Ooh, look at the shade of yellow starting to come in. That's the 2 to 4 inches of rain by Sunday morning. And yet there's more rain on the way for Sunday. So a real good soaking for areas that need it most. We've been in a solid rainfall deficit over the last few weeks, even with the 1 to 2 inch rainfall deficit just in the last 30 days down south and up north there in Sussex County, easily making that up in the next 5 days. So got the sprinklers for the lawn controlled on the app skipped the next 5 days, but certainly not going to need that, even though there's still a severe drought across southern New Jersey, that likely coming to an end this time next week. So much wet weather after the heat today, warming into the low 90s this morning by midday, and then the rain comes in this afternoon. But even still, after this week, going into the end of May, we'll have a somewhat dry period coming up, and warmer too, warmer than average, taking you through the first few weeks, or first few days of June rather, into the next few weeks. There you go, with temperatures that will cool off from the 90s today back into the 50s and 60s for the time being. Even overnight lows down in the upper 40s across northern New Jersey. We'll warm back up next week, but by Tuesday and Wednesday, we still have about 6 or 7 days to go until we're back in the above average territory for temperatures. Rainfall, yeah, it'll be well above average over the next few days, Ken. So gotta keep that umbrella around to stay dry.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mike, and enjoy the day, sir. It is 76 degrees northern New Jersey right now, 77 degrees in Trenton. And by the way, congratulations to all of our good folks here at On New Jersey. We take a moment to I don't want to say gloat, but to be proud and say thank you to the people at the Telly Awards. This channel, it's only been around for a few years, and the show has only been around for 16, 17 months now. And we just won, the channel won 8 awards, 8 Telly Awards. We found out yesterday. This show won 1, and it's our very first award. So thank you to everybody who is part of the channel. It's not a whole heck of a lot of people, but the people who work here work their butts off. So thank you to our owners, Lisa and Gerald, and to Pam, our director, and of course, Mike Favetta, our meteorologist, and Izzy, our producer, and Brandon and Sean, and everybody else who's part of the company, Angelita, who takes care of the business office, and just everyone part of the company. If I didn't mention your name, and there's a lot more people, please, thank you. Congratulations to On New Jersey, On LACA, On FLA, all part of the Media First group. And we thank you very much. It's great to be part of the team. Congratulations to everyone on the team, and thank you for watching. The following is brought to you by our friends at AARP New Jersey. Medicaid and SNAP benefits are critical resources for so many families across New Jersey. But with recent updates and changes, many residents may have questions about what these changes mean for them and what steps they need to take to maintain coverage and benefits. Dr. Stephen Cha is Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Human Services. We say good morning to you, Dr. Cha.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Nice to have you on, sir. And there are major changes happening now with Medicaid this year. So explain what those changes are, please.
Sure. So just backing up, about 1.85 million New Jersey residents are enrolled in NJ Family Care, which is our New Jersey version of Medicaid. Now, about 30% of those New Jersey residents, about 540,000, got coverage through the Affordable Care expansion, and that's exciting and fantastic. Those folks, however, will be subject to new eligibility requirements under what we call H.R. 1, the budget bill that was passed by Congress last year. So this budget bill creates new requirements for all those people, all those 540,000 people. We're worried, and some people have projected, that we may lose as many as 330,000 New Jerseyans who could lose NJ Family Care due to these new federal burdens. And we're really concerned about that and trying to work with folks to make sure folks are tracking on that.
And for folks who may not understand what H.R. 1 was, under the Trump administration, there was some Medicaid fraud in pockets of the country. And unfortunately, because of a few people who were the bad guys, the good people who desperately need Medicaid now may slip through the cracks. And that's what stinks. These people desperately need Medicaid, and they may go to get health coverage in an emergency and find out, oh, you're no longer eligible. So what is it that every few months they have to kind of renew again and kind of reprove that they need to stay on Medicaid?
That's exactly right. And so, just to be clear, a lot of these changes don't start for some time. So we have time. This isn't a tomorrow thing. Most of these changes start to take effect. Certain undocumented immigrant populations start to lose coverage in October of this year. The bigger changes start in January of next year. But we want to be sure that people are understanding what's happening and what we're doing now in partnership to be sure people can tackle some of these challenges. Just as you said, we're going to have more federal burdens. They're going to have to prove that they're working, what they call community engagement requirements. And it's going to happen every 6 months. Most people are used to doing this every year. For that 540,000 who got coverage through the Affordable Care Act, that 30%, you're going to have to do it every 6 months starting in January. So it's good to begin the conversation now about what that's going to mean.
So your team is active right now in helping residents navigate the updates and make sure that people don't accidentally lose coverage, because you don't want to be in a catastrophic accident, find out you're not covered.
That's exactly right. So the governor's budget, which is before the legislature now, invests in systems and partnerships to prevent these unnecessary coverage losses. And I should be clear that those folks who are going to lose coverage, that 330,000 New Jerseyans that I talked about, the vast majority of them are still eligible. They're still eligible for coverage. It's just that they're not going to get through all the paperwork hurdles and burdens that are now put upon them because of that H.R. 1 bill that was passed. So the governor's budget puts about $10 million more to strengthen the coordination amongst state agencies and counties. And counties are the front door for a lot of these benefits. To invest in some vendors to help us modernize our systems. And it also includes $71 million, because one of the other things the bill did was just remove money from the administrative cost for the SNAP, the nutrition benefits. So the governor's budget puts $71 million to support those county agencies, again, because they are our front door for both nutrition and health benefits to get people access. So we're just trying to focus for the rest of the year to make our systems work better, to take these investments in both county partnerships and our vendors and make this work better for people. We want all eligible residents to stay on the program as much as we can.
Sadly, so many people who are on Medicaid are the very people who are unable to get the mail, read the mail, figure out multiple pages of complex forms, fill them out, get it. Those are the people that need the help the most. And unfortunately, they're the ones we're obviously most concerned about. But what should people do if they get that renewal paperwork or notice in the mail? What's the first thing they need to do?
Yeah, so we're going to be reaching out to contact all of our beneficiaries by fall 2026 of this year with more information. And again, for 70% of our beneficiaries, don't need to do a thing. Don't worry, relax. For those people who got coverage through the ACA, there's a bunch of hoops and hurdles that you have to go through, and we'll be giving you more information if those changes apply to you. But yeah, I got to say, it is hard to track mail, and we understand that's challenging. We'll have customer service lines open. We're already talking to community partners and trying to think about how we can get those messages out, talking to our providers and hospitals. But watch for your letters, emails, text. Make sure your contact information is up to date, and be sure you open and respond to all that mail as soon as possible. We're starting to send some of those alerts out now just to get people prepared, but we do have some months before people really need to take action.
Yeah, for people who don't realize, Medicaid is almost half the budget. And not just this state, but most states around the country. Medicaid is huge because healthcare is so expensive. We kind of started to deal with it in the last couple of decades, and then we kind of dropped the ball. And this is still a major problem. Doctor, if people have questions or need help with Medicaid or SNAP, where can they go? What website can they go to, or whom can they contact right now?
Absolutely. You can call the NJ Family Care customer service at 800-701-0710, or go to our website at dhs.nj.gov. So we're here to help support people. We want to make sure that your contact information is up to date and make sure that both, and we didn't talk about the SNAP, but more than 800,000 New Jersey residents also rely on SNAP, and we're seeing projected benefits losses as well because of that budget bill. So it's both nutrition and the healthcare that we're really trying to figure out how we can move forward here.
Wow. Well, thankfully, you're on top of it and helping so many people out. Dr. Stephen Cha, Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Human Services. Thank you for this very important information, and thanks for coming on this morning.
Appreciate you.
It's 8:56. A reminder that the debate for the 2nd District Congressional Primary takes place tonight, 6 p.m. at Stockton University's Campus Center. 4 candidates will take the stage: Tim Alexander, Zach Mullock, Terry Reese, and Bailey Winder. Watch the debate live here on ONNJ. And meteorologist Mike Favetta says we'll have mostly sunny, breezy conditions today. A few afternoon clouds. Then later on could be a stray shower or thunderstorm because we're getting a front coming through to change the temps. So today's high is mid-90s, but then it all cools down. So if you're like my good friend Pam, our director, who is not a fan of the heat, yesterday was 99 degrees. Today, again, mid-90s. Tomorrow is going to be a heck of a lot cooler than it has been. So you'll get that little bit of a cool off, and that's the good news. And that is on New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato. Remember, you could stream us at ONNJ.com, ONLACA.com, ONFLA.com, Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And now we stream live on Substack, Rumble, Twitch, and Local Now. We'll catch you again tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. That's the national hour from 7 to 8. And then we come back to the New Jersey hour from 8 to 9. Tell all your friends about us and stream us. Streaming TV is now 50% of all TV viewership. Till tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great day and thanks for watching.